Let's start at the end of yesterday. So here's Trump's statement after yesterday's day in court. Let's see what he says about it.
This is a very sad day for America, and it was also very sad driving through Washington, D.C. and seeing the filth and the decay and all of the broken buildings and walls and the graffiti. This is not the place that I left. It's a very sad thing to see it. When you look at what's happening, this is a persecution of a political opponent. This was never supposed to happen in America. This is the persecution of the person that's leading by very, very substantial numbers in the Republican primary and leading Biden by a lot. So if you can't beat him, you persecute him or you prosecute him. We can't let this happen in America. Thank you very much.
Do you want these trials to happen before the 2024 election?
There it is, political persecution, because he's the top contender.
This is a very sad.
Because he's the top contender. That's what the man himself says. Ah, this is the one I was looking for. This is the one I was looking for. So this is right outside the courthouse. This is right outside the courthouse.
Okay, thank you, everybody. This is a disgraceful situation. As I say, murders are going on as you stand here, and they're wasting everybody's time for many months on this case where banks got paid a fortune, loan money got paid money back, didn't even need their money. We built a great company, and we have to go through this. So this just broke, but before I discuss that, why are we trying a case that the Appellate Division of New York State has just ruled recently that we won 80% of our case. And this judge refuses to acknowledge the ruling, which is very plain for all to see. We won, as you know, it had to do with Ivanka, and it had to do with other things. It had to do with the statute of limitations, where they wanted to go back to 200 years ago, 500 years ago. It was limited, very much limited, and it amounted to about 80% of the case was won by us in the Appellate Division. And this rogue judge, a Trump hater, the only one that hates Trump more is his associate up there, his person that works with him. She's screaming into his ear on almost every time we ask a question. It's a disgrace. You want to know the truth? It's a disgrace. So this rogue judge refuses to acknowledge the fact that we won 80% of this case in the Appellate Division, including statute of limitations. You know, in the statute of limitations, you have a period of time. He wants to go back so far that nobody's ever even heard of such a ridiculous thing. So we won the case in the Appellate Division, and this judge refuses to acknowledge the Appellate Division, meaning he's got contempt for his own court system. Nobody's ever seen that before, where he refuses to even talk about it.
Hold the judge in contempt of his own court.
And the Attorney General is a total, she's a corrupt person. A terrible person, driving people out of New York, number one. That's number one. Number two, it just came out a few minutes ago where Palm Beach County, the people that do this, agree with us 100%, and they say the judge is wrong. The judge is wrong in his ruling. He valued Mar-a-Lago at $18 million, and it's worth
hundreds.
$1 billion, maybe $1.5 billion. And you saw where various properties that we have that are valued in the financial statements, which is totally subject to the clause that you've all been hearing about doing buyer beware, as they call it. But this just came out. Error in New York civil fraud case against Trump is flagged by industry insiders who say valuation of Mar-a-Lago cited by judge is based on a misunderstanding of basic real estate practice. So you're saying the judge has misunderstood basic.
Yeah, from my understanding of how the judge came up with the figure of 18 million is he looks at the assessor's cost basis to assign taxes. Right? So like if you look up your house on the county assessor's website, it'll have a basic evaluation of what it's worth. And that's how they calculate how much property taxes you owe. That is never accurate. It is never It doesn't have anything to do with the actual real estate market or what you could sell the house for. And the judge used that figure to determine that Mar-a-Lago is worth 18 million. From my understanding, a guy bought a dirt lot down the street for 500 million. He's planning to build a house on. Like, it's just an entire golf resort, a 20,000 square foot house, clubhouse, all of that. 18 million? It's laughable. It's laughable.
Basic real estate practice. I say they're wrong about that. He didn't misunderstand it. This is a rigged court. He's put there to do a job on Trump. Now, this comes from highly respected officials in Palm Beach County. Also, apparent mistake by Judge Engoron surfaces in the use of a Palm Beach County appraisal of Mar-a-Lago that an expert says is detached from the true value of the property. Now, I don't know the people that we're talking about in Palm Beach County, but they saw this egregious trial, this horrible, horrible trial going on, while at the same time people are being murdered right outside of the streets, and nothing happens to those people that do the murdering. They go after Trump. So this was just released by Palm Beach County, that the judge in this case is wrong. And by the way, he's talking about them. So they're explaining to him that he's wrong. Here's another one, just came out. New York v. Trump could set precedent for the use of New York's overweening executive law. One doesn't have to be a lawyer to see the danger to anyone doing business in the Empire State. Anybody that does business in New York State is crazy.
Facts.
When you have a radical left.
If tuna is one of the healthiest and leanest protein you can eat,
That
then why
looks
are we eating more of
disgusting.
it? We'll tell you.
Because it looks disgusting.
Attorney
It's full of trace metals and radiation. Stop eating the canned fish, people. But yeah, if anybody else is doing business in New York, I would get the fuck out of there, bro. If you're on the right, at least. If you're a liberal, you can do whatever you want, wherever the hell you want, and you'll be fine. But if you're a conservative or own a conservative company or once tweeted something semi-conservative 7 years ago, I would get the fuck out of New York ASAP because they will be coming after you. They
Attorney
will.
General like Letitia James, who's a disgrace to our country, who got elected on the fact that she's going to take down President Trump. We're going to take him down. She knew nothing about me. But she got elected on that basis. And we have others likewise. Take a look at what's going on in Georgia. Take a look at...
Yeah, the 2022 election, a lot of people got elected based on the level of their Trump derangement syndrome. If they had like a level 90 or above TDS score, they got elected. Democrats have lost it. I don't know if their brainwashing is off kilter or what happened, but there's something about Orange Man Bad right here, Orange Man Bad, that affects them like physically. They're physically affected by one man wanting to save the country. It's crazy.
Jack Smith. Take a look at these people. This is called election interference, and worse than that, really much worse than that. And you don't get much worse than election interference, especially we're talking presidential election of 2024. So this judge should change his ruling because Palm Beach County said he was totally wrong, and he was ruling based on them. He ruled we didn't even have a chance to testify. I got a call last week, sir, we lost part of the case. I said, the trial didn't even start. You know, the trial starts, I guess, today. He ruled that we lost a big part of the case because he's a Democrat club politician. He's a Democrat operative, and he's a disgrace to people that call themselves judges. And I hope my lawyers go in and I hope they fight him very hard, because this guy's getting away with murder. And his clerk should not be allowed to be in his ear on every single question. You take a look at what's happening with her. She hates Trump more than he does. So that's where it is. We have 80% of this trial has been won. In June, they came down, the end of June, with a decision, very powerful decision. And it said on statute of limitations and just about everything else, did you say approximately 80% of the trial? Attorneys, is that right? Approximately 80% of the trials won. He refuses to acknowledge his own appellate division. And I think it's a disgrace to our country.
Yes.
And somebody has to fight, because if you don't fight, our country is just going to go down the tubes. This is election interference. This guy's a highly partisan person, and we can't let this stuff happen. So you should ask yourselves as professionals, I have a lot of respect for you, not all of you, but a lot of you. Why is it that he didn't honor the decision of the...
What's so crazy to me is I post about some of this stuff on my Instagram, so I get the liberal dumbasses in my comments. And it's just mind-baffling to me, their whole thought process. Their whole thought process. Like, look, he's a fraudster. He deserves to go to jail. Based on what? He said his property's worth $200 million, $300 million, $400 million, $10 billion. The point is, if you go to a bank and you're like, I got a property, it's worth $700 million. The bank doesn't go, oh, okay, here's some money. That's not how it works. The bank does their own appraisal of the property to confirm if they should be loaning based off of that number or if they need to change the number. The number that Trump provides is irrelevant to the bank's decision to either approve the loan or deny the loan. They have their own responsibility to do due diligence and figure out what the property is valued at. You don't just get to make up what it is. Obviously, Trump's not going to come in and lowball his own shit. Like, oh yeah, this is a piece of crap. It's only worth $100 million. It's just crazy to me. It's just crazy. And then the libs in the comments are like, yep, he's going to jail, clearly. He's clearly going to jail. He's a fraudster. Well, where's the fraud? Where's the crime? Who's the victim? Don't crimes have victims? Who is the victim? Was the bank hurt? No, they got paid. So where's the victim of the crime? Yeah, they hear Trump, they automatically get Trump. So they're blinded by hate. But why? That's what I can't understand. Why do they hate this man so bad? Why? It just doesn't make any sense to me. All he did was come down the stairs and go, look, our country's falling apart. The news media is bullshit. There's a bunch of rapists coming across the border. We need to get shit fixed. And like all of their heads popped. And they've been semi-retarded or full-blown retarded ever since. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Like, I don't even get it. I don't even get it. And like, I understand like the major liberal politicians, why they hate him. Because he wants to destroy the deep state. He wants to crash the money train that they've all been riding on for years and decades, and that they hope their kids and family and everybody else is going to ride on for years and decades to come. So I understand the politicians on the gravy train don't want him to run the train off the tracks. I get that. But for the normal liberal voter who's out there, Democrat voter, why the fuck are you delusional? You're getting nothing from the Democratic Party whatsoever. They're not helping you out in any way, shape, or form. And you have some weird, creepy obsession with this man that you think literally everything he touches, says, or does is bad. And you automatically have to believe the opposite. Pavlov's dog. I don't get the Pavlov's dog reference. But the media definitely MK Ultra'd them, which is brainwashing. MK Ultra is the CIA program to infiltrate news media so the government could put out their agenda via mainstream news and people would listen to it like it's actually real, coming from real people. The whole brainwashing thing is crazy, though, because apparently prior to 2012, it was illegal to propagandize American citizens. We had a law specifically not allowing three-letter agencies to use propaganda in America against Americans. Because we use propaganda all over the place. We basically lie to everybody across the planet. But until 2012, we had a law against doing it to Americans. Were they following the law? Probably not. But at least there was a law, some recourse you could go after. And then Obama, that fruitcake, tranny, marrying homo, he fucking changed it. He changed it. And he made it legal to run propaganda campaigns on the American citizens. Now, why is it? Why do we think Obama wanted to run psyops on Americans? Why do you think? Why do you think? I'm just asking a question, folks. We're just asking a question. CIA is the worst organization after World War II. It should be dismantled. That's facts. Pablo had a dog and rang a bell every time to eat. Then he rang the bell but didn't feed the dog, but the dog salivated and was hungry. Ah, okay, so it's like a psychological experiment. I got you. I got you. It's like the cat in a box.
The appellate, and by the way,
All right, let's
I
finish
believe
this.
it was a unanimous decision, right? It's a 5-0 decision, unanimous decision. And he said, I'm not going to honor it. Let's go to trial. This is a judge that should be disbarred. This is a judge that should be out of office. This is a judge that some people say could be charged criminally for what he's doing. He's interfering with an election, and it's a disgrace. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Why do you want to be here in person today?
Because I want to watch this witch hunt myself. I've been going through a witch hunt for years, but this is really now getting dirty between Jack Smith and between all of these DOJ people helping them along. This is a pure witch hunt for purposes of interfering with the elections of the United States of America.
Facts.
It's totally illegal. This judge should be disbarred. He shouldn't be allowed to be a judge. Thank you.
Facts. 100% facts, Trump. But that's pretty much what Trump's always speaking. This guy speaks facts, and that's why the left hates him so much. He doesn't lie to them. He doesn't sugarcoat. He doesn't put some fluff on it. It's just, he gives it to you. He gives it to you raw dog, bro. He gives it to you raw dog. All right, what are you folks talking about over on? They hate him because he didn't fall in line behind Obama and made him look like a fool. Yeah, he definitely made Obama look like a jackass, for sure. And he crushed Obama's presidency. Just crushed. I mean, he tore everything up that guy ever accomplished. Except for Obamacare. Because, excuse me, because the fake-ass Republicans went against him on that, too. They went against him on that too. Who was it? McCain? McCain's geriatric dumbass went in there, thumbs down, to get rid of Obamacare. What a loser. What a freaking loser that McCain is.